Hello, welcome back to the Cricket Nerds. And is this the end? Is this the end of India, of Test cricket, of this channel? Because my goodness, it was. This is all I can say. Just I'm depressed watching that. My goodness, India versus Australia, day 2. We've just finished the 3rd innings on day 2.
Mm-hmm.
And it started off pretty optimistically for India, I've got to say, because even though they were, Australia led by a fair amount start of the day, the tail did not wag, not close. Cameron Green got bowled out for 20 and Hanscom for 19. And then the rest of the tail only managed to put on about, I think it was 9 runs between them. So from that,
6 in the tail enders. Alex Carey's not really a tail ender, is he?
Well, yeah, but the last 5 put on 9. Then fine. Either way, wasn't a great performance this morning from Australia's batters, and it was a good performance from the Indian spinners, and notably Umesh Yadav. But then India start batting, and it didn't take long for the wheels to come off, did it, Benj?
No. Mitchell Starcom, Matthew Kuhneman opened the bowling. I don't think he stayed on for very long though, because I think it was only the 4th or 5th over that Nathan Lyon came on. And yes, Shubman Gill, the golden boy, the answer we thought to all the issues of Test cricket and the whole world and global warming. And he runs down the track and he's out bowled by Nathan Lyon. He didn't need to be really, did he? I didn't think.
No, I mean the Indian batting innings actually started and ended exactly the same way. Shubman Gill and Mohammad Siraj dancing down the track to Nathan Lyon, taking a wild heave and getting bowled. It was it seemed like that was just a little bit silly. I mean, Siraj was well within his rights. He was, they were just scraping around for runs, basically. I mean, I would have preferred to see Siraj just try to stay in and let Axar Patel hit out, but there we go. But yeah, the rest of India's batters, there was, I mean, I think we have to just talk about the pitch again. I know we talked about this a lot yesterday in the podcast that me and Zach did, but that pitch is nigh on impossible to bat on. If you've got, this India side, when I look at the batters that they're playing, there are some of the best players of spin in the last, 10 years.
Yeah.
In this lineup, and none of them could really manage it. The one player that I think did really well was Pujara. He played a similar innings to Usman Khawaja, where it was just, he played sensibly, he played every shot like he meant it, and it took some absolute brilliance from Steve Smith at leg slip to be able to remove him. It was an incredible catch, like really fast impulse, but yeah.
Yeah, it's just the fact that, the hero of the moment, Axar Patel's not been able to score runs either. And actually, he looked probably one of the more convincing batters. Took a lot of the strike towards the end, understandably. And yeah, I'd have liked to have seen Siraj bat a bit more sensibly, because I think Australia have a total of 75, I think, to chase down in 3 days of cricket.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest, I still don't entirely back Australia to do it with this pitch.
No, that's the mental thing. That is the mental thing. I'm saying it's like 90% Australia, maybe 85, but I genuinely would not discount India on this track, because it's not like you can just say to Australia, well, lads, you've got 3 days. Just take your time, stick around, and put the bad ball away. It's like, no, they're all good balls, because you could be an absolute pie chucker. Harry Brook could be chucking his filthy seam off the wrong foot on this track, and it would probably be doing something. So
I love how it bowls off the wrong foot. It's incredible.
Brilliant. But yeah, like I genuinely think that the low total, it could cause Australia to trip up, but I think if they just play with absolute confidence on every shot that they play, then that's going to be the way to chase down such a small total. Someone I want to pick up on, KS Barrett. Now, I mentioned him yesterday. I wasn't too impressed with his keeping. Haven't been too impressed with his run scoring. And again today, I thought that the wicket that got him out was very weak. He looks weak in defence. Again, ultimate caveat that this pitch is almost impossible to bat on. But KS Barrett haven't been impressed. And I was just scouring the internet to try and find a good replacement for him. And if you know, leave it down in the comments. Who should India bring in? Should they bring in Ishan Kishan?
Ishan Kishan's the other one who's in. Ishan Kishan's the other one who's in there. He is the Pant replacement maybe. So yeah, maybe we can see it there. It's just going through this India second innings. Like, I mean, there was a little sliver of hope. Pujara scrambled a score together. Shreyas Iyer got into the 20s, and I think if you get into the 20s in this game, that's an achievement.
Yeah,
I was
quite excited.
Convincing today, though.
Yeah, I was quite excited by Shreyas Iyer actually, because he genuinely looked good. Like, he looked like he was playing his shots, and he actually went out in quite an unlucky way. I thought it was just a full ball from start, like a bit of a half volley that Iyer managed to just absolutely middle and find Khawaja, who took a diving catch at mid-wicket-ish. That was an unfortunate one, because I think if Iyer and Pujara could have built a slightly bigger partnership, we could be talking about, India having a lead of maybe 120. And that, I think, would be a very competitive lead.
Yeah, I think so. I think if there was a lead of anything over 100, I think would be good. I have to say, you mentioned it earlier, Steve Smith's catch of Pujara was just incredible. I think that was probably one of the most pivotal moments in this Test match as well. But yeah, you are right, and again, you both talked about it yesterday, when you were saying that, you've got these massive distinction in these two Test matches that are going on. We got the conclusion to England New Zealand, which is one of the best Test matches I've ever watched. Like, coming down to the wire, day 5, all 3 results still there, and a 1-run margin of victory from a team that was enforced to follow on. Like, you can't write that stuff. But then this is, I mean, a dust bowl in indoor. Like, you may as well be playing on an indoor pitch. Indoor.
Oh, that's right. that's a bar.
But yeah, it is. I mean, right. Australia have got 75 runs to win tomorrow. I still don't back them. I think they could. I think they could, and I think we predicted. I predicted that Australia would win one back. For pride at least. But whether Australia come back and win, it is interesting. What I am a bit worried for is that this India team this Australia team seem to have pulled together and have shown that they can perform in any conditions. And if they do get a win here, then I don't want them to be too confident when they come into the Ashes. Can we just quickly talk about West Indies versus South Africa?
Yeah, go on then.
Because that's going on right now. West Indies look like they they brought themselves back into the game when they bowled South Africa out in the second innings for 116, with a fifer for Kemar Roach, with their. Yeah, they just pretty much used all their seamers. They didn't use any of their part-time spinners in the second innings. But the West Indies have managed to slip to 41 for 5.
Yeah.
With all hopes pinned on Jermaine Blackwood and Joshua De Silva. Oh, and Rabada's just dropped a catch, which probably would have sealed the deal for them, but
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I can't see it making a big difference. Like, I think you
no.
could drop quite a few, and it's not a whole lot's going to happen. Yeah, I think it's been a very, very good, impressive performance from the South African bowlers, all of which are, pretty quick actually. Like, obviously there's quick and there's quick, but Gerald Coates here, I thought he played really well so far.
Yeah.
He's it seems like he's breathing absolute fire, bowling very fast, and he's really young as well. He's only 22.
It's it's a new look. It's a new look to the South Africa team. No Maharaj. The four seamers, Marco Jansen, Bavuma's captaincy, which seems to have done wonders for Alga and Markram. But yeah, it's been an equally interesting test match with lots of twists and turns. Again, it's not going to go 5 days. And this is the thing with test match cricket. Like, we're getting to a point where we might have no option but to go to 4-day test matches. But then if we have got 4-day test matches, it means that spectacular test matches like England versus New Zealand don't have the opportunity to play out.
Yeah, I don't think we'll ever go to 4-day test matches. But that does lead very nicely onto one of our CNQs for today, because John Smith 756 said, do you see T20s as a boon where the teams are able to force the result consistently, leading to lesser draws or fewer draws, or as a bane because batting long hours is becoming some sort of a lost art? So is it a good thing for cricket or a bad thing for cricket, basically? Is it encouraging just more entertainment because there are fewer draws, or is it meaning that people can't bat for as long? What's your thought?
I don't think this is the thing. I don't think T20 is the downfall of Test match cricket, because we see players all around the world still playing those longer innings. You look at some of the previous matches in the India versus Australia. You think of Rohit Sharma's Uncle 100 in the first Test match. You think of Root playing quite a long innings in the first innings of the England-New Zealand second test. Craig Braithwaite whenever he bats. Like, there are players around the world who still play these longer innings, and it's the importance is still there for it. And we can see that. I think T20, all that's happening for like England, for example, is England have decided to go a new way about approaching test match cricket with being aggressive and trying to, force a win from nowhere. I wouldn't say that it's going to be the downfall of test match cricket. I think that there's always going to be test match cricket there, and it's always going to cause this to happen. I think the benefit that I see in T20 is the money it generates for the rest of cricket. And because it is that more spectator sport that gets people in to the stadiums.
I think T20 just offers more innovation because it's shorter. You have to score off every ball, so people find better ways to restrict scoring with the bowling, and better ways to score off balls that you might not suspect, and you're looking to manipulate the field a bit more. So I think it's a good thing. I agree. I don't think it's the downfall of Test cricket at all. And I think what kind of the England side has proved that, and people like Daryl Mitchell and Travis Head to some degree, and people like that who can play these quite exciting innings but pace them well, but be explosive and quite damaging to the bowlers when they need to be, is that T20 is a good thing, and it can feed into greater skill sets. We've got another question. This is about the England-New Zealand game from PD, legend of the game. He said, boys, what do you think about Joe Root's shot against Neil Wagner where he got caught in mid-wicket? Do you think that was a very non-Joe Root-like shot? Did Bazball corrupt Joe Root? And I think he asked a subsequent question sort of linked with that. Could be wrong. I'll cut that bit. But yeah.
So for context, this was Joe Root's dismissal in the second test, in the second innings when he was looking like he was onto 100. No, I don't think Bazball's corrupted Joe Root, because you saw how he played in the first innings. He got out stupidly in the first test match by playing a reverse sweep shot that didn't quite do what it wanted to do, but then he played that shot fantastically 3 or 4 more times in the second test match. Him and Ben Stokes were just trying to accelerate the scoring to get England into a winning position, and he's just playing that aggressive brand of cricket, and the ball was there to be hit for Wagner. He was playing it short, and Root had a lot of success by taking Wagner over mid wicket, and he tried it again, and this time, as is with cricket, and as is the risk when you're playing that aggressive brand of cricket, is he got some extra bounce, and that just caused it to balloon up. And you could see Root straight away was furious with himself that he'll have got out like that.
Yeah.
But it's what happens. That's what uneven bounce does, and that's one of the beautiful things in cricket. That Root could have been due 100, and actually that 100 could have won England the game.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
Zach was
talked
very
about it yesterday.
Zach was very cross about that dismissal.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the fact that Folkes and Stokes both went out the same way annoyed me a bit. I thought it was a bit unnecessary. But yeah, it's part of the game, isn't it? And it was an incredible test match. Final CNQ of the day from Stephen Ponty, who is an Australian. So, bear that in mind.
Okay.
He said, loving the podcast. Even as an Aussie, I'm loving the way that England are playing. However, and this reverts to an earlier question about the Ashes, would England make these bold tactical decisions if the Ashes were on the line? He's not talking about Bazball. He's talking about an audacious declaration, say in the 5th test, where England is 2-1 up to make a game of it. Would they really give the Aussies the opportunity to steal the Ashes? Because personally, he doesn't think they would. So let's say it's 5th test. There's been a rain-affected draw. England are up 2-1. And it's looking like England could play for a draw, or they could do, an audacious declaration, try and make a game of it, force a result.
Right. I don't think England would ever declare to make a game of it. I think England would make a bold tactical decision to win. I think that is the
same thing, though, isn't it?
Mentality with it. Well, yeah, make a game of it. Force it sounds a bit different. I think the mentality with England now is we don't do draws, even if it's to retain the Ashes. It's a test match. It's a test. We do this. We're not going to play boring cricket where we just block out for a day and a half. We would do a declaration. We're going to try and get 20 wickets. That is been England's mentality ever since Stokes and McCullum have been in charge. So yeah, I'd see that happening. I think that England would only ever do that to try to force a win for themselves.
Yeah, I think they would be slightly less risky in those declarations if it was like a series like the Ashes on the line.
Maybe.
Because there's declarations, there's declarations. Like if it was, we're going to give Australia a target of 200 in the last day to try and chase, they're not going to do that. But if they're just saying, right, well, we'll probably bat on for a little bit longer, give them a slightly higher target, give ourselves, a very comfortable effort at winning. I think that's more likely what Stephen's referring to and what I think would happen. I do genuinely think that the context does matter. Big series like that on the line, England are more likely to play it a bit safer. Right, that's all we've got time for today. Leave your Cricket Nerds questions down in the comments below. If you want them to be answered, we will try to get as many as we can answered in the next episode. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't just unsubscribe because your team lost, because we are still pumping out that brilliant content. So, tell your friends about us. It really does help. and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.